Hello everyone and welcome back to Venus 14. Now today we are going to be talking about a completely different game that actually was announced literally 1 week ago. Yeah, as for why I haven't made the video on this earlier, good question. So yeah, but today guys we are going to be talking about a game called Neverness to Everness. It's basically a game, well, it's a gacha game. From, if you have heard about the game before, you'd know that it's a gacha game. It's an open world gacha game, exactly like Genshin and Wuthering Waves. However, this game is very, very different to both of them in that this game is not really set in a fantasy world. I mean, there are fantasy and supernatural elements to this world, but it's basically set in like a modern day world, effectively. Basically like ours, with skyscrapers and vehicles and stuff like that. However, this game is kind of different and unique to all gacha games because this game is a blend between Genshin Impact and GTA. That's right. Somehow the developers for this game decided, you know what, let's just make GTA and Genshin Impact into one and see what the hell happens. I mean, what's the worst that could happen, you know what I mean? So, yeah, and when I say GTA, guys, I do really mean GTA. Like, you can drive cars, which obviously isn't exclusive to GTA, but you can drive cars. Bikes are also supposed to be in the game as well, from what I've heard at least. You can own businesses, you can own your own houses and stuff like that. So it kind of is a GTA style game. Now, whether these businesses are illegal or legal, we don't yet know. But because the developers for this game are Chinese, I don't think these games will, businesses will be illegal. So I think these are all just real legal businesses. So yeah. It's a bit like GTA in the fact that we can own businesses, own loads of mansions and houses and stuff like that, and drive around in loads of cars. So yeah, it really is like that kind of game, which is very unique. And honestly, when I first heard about that concept, I was very, very drawn towards it. Now, the name of the area that this game is based in is called Hetero, effectively. If I remember correctly, it's called Hetero, yeah. So Hetero is a normal city, most of the time, and then in certain parts at certain times of day or night, I should say, it turns into this, which is what you can see in front of me, or on your screens, I should say. It turns into this supernatural type of world that is basically inhabited by, I don't know, some sort of life form known as I don't know what they're known as, actually. Yeah, they're basically just evil entities, effectively, out to just get rid of everyone. So, if you guys have played Persona 4, think of it like that, I guess, except you don't go into a TV world, it just kind of happens. So, yeah. But basically, in terms of story, I'm not actually sure what the story is, but from what I've heard, the story is basically we are a man or a woman that's known as an appraiser, and our job is literally just to get rid of all of these entities, effectively, in Hetero. So, yeah, that's basically our job, and some of the characters that you can see here that we are playing at, or that are playable, are basically characters that we will interact with in the story at some point. Of course, the game was just announced last week, so there really isn't that much detail when it comes to the story or the mechanics and stuff like that. So yeah. But as for the actual gameplay and combat, you guys will have noticed that it's very similar to Genshin, where you've got like your elemental skill, your elemental burst, normal attacks and charge attacks, and that's basically it. It's not as complicated as Wuthering Waves, so it's a lot more relaxed in that regard. Yeah. So yeah, some of these characters, well, we will go through them actually, because we do know the names of 3 of them. The girl with the green hair, and cat ears, her name is Mint, I believe. Her name is literally just Mint. As for the girl with the red hair and cat ears, her name is Nanalie, and the short one with the horn, I actually don't know what her name is. She is the last character that we do know the name of, but I seem to have forgotten her name, maybe because I'm just not into her that much for obvious reasons. Yeah. As for anything else, guys, As far as I can think of, no, not really. I mean, apart from the fact that we can actually drive cars. Oh, yeah, and I completely forgot. It's not like you can just drive cars like in Cyberpunk. It's like GTA, where you can drive cars and customize them, right? You can customize them and upgrade them exactly like you can in GTA, effectively. And also, from what I've heard, guys, there will be an online multiplayer mode in this game that does actually include some form of racing. Yeah, races do exist in this game, at least from what we've been told and what we've been shown, and data miners leaking information and stuff like that. They say that there is a possibility of racing existing in, like, online multiplayer, and also some of the stages where we have to fight are actually going to make use of the vehicles that we own, right? And I believe it does actually show up in the gameplay clip at some point. Yeah. And we also do get to see a bit of the customization menu in the background as well. Also, this video is actually on what's it called? YouTube. It's literally been posted by the developers of NTE. So Neverness to Everness, NTE, that's what a lot of people are referring to. This is the car modification or car customization shop. So yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Genshin Impact and GTA was a combination I thought would never actually happen. But yeah. But yes, this car does look like a Porsche 911. As for which one, I don't... it looks like a more modern version of the 930. Actually, this kit looks very, very similar to the RWB 911 Carrera S, the 930 version specifically. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go back to school, learn about cars, watch Top Gear. I'm utterly disappointed. I'm joking, don't worry. You can be into whatever you're into, except little children. So yeah, but that was basically the customization, guys. Definitely the 930 Carrera S is looking mighty fine with the RWB kit. So yeah, but as far as I can tell, that's effectively it. We do actually get to see some more stuff about the housing and stuff like that, and the house they actually show us is pretty intense, and you can buy houses from this group called Leon Real Estate Group. Yeah, Leon Real Estate. So yeah, of course everything is in Chinese, so I can't really translate everything. I'm not my father, because he knows some Chinese, but yeah, a lot of Chinese actually. Yeah, but you can straight up just buy properties and be like, yeah, this house is yours now. So I think the clip does show us to that new area, I mean our house. So yeah, and on top of that you can also own businesses, but I think that's going to be more of a side part of the game, not the main part of it. But obviously if you want to, you can definitely make it so that, you know, you're bringing in a lot of money with that business and stuff. So yeah, I honestly cannot wait to see where this game goes, because unironically this game might actually be the next thing, at least before GTA 6, right? I mean, we're getting anime GTA before GTA 6. That's kind of ridiculous, I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, I do wonder what all the before GTA 6 jokes are gonna die when GTA 6 comes out. So yeah. But anyway, guys, we're going to go to our penthouse. I don't own this game. I don't own the character. I don't own the women playing this game right now. I mean, the person playing this game. Yeah, so here we go, guys. This is a city skyline view of Heathrow. What the hell is that thing on top of the skyscraper? I don't know if you guys saw it. But yeah, we're gonna head over. This, by the way, is our butler. I don't know if he's actually supposed to look like that, or if it's just a non-rendered version of the butler, but yeah, we'll have to see. But yeah, this is the penthouse, guys. I'm presuming this is more of like an end game apartment or penthouse that we'll be able to own. It does look really cool, and yes, it does come with a swimming pool, and I also think there's a pool table here, if I remember correctly. Yeah, we got a friggin' piano and stuff. Like, it's pretty ridiculous, like, how extensive this is so far. I just want to know, is this game too ambitious? Because, I mean, the last time a game this, like, you know, a game that was promised to be the next big thing, cough cough, Cyberpunk, kind of disappointed a lot of people. And I'm gonna be honest, Cyberpunk, even though the game was really bad on release, I have to admit the story and direction and everything about that game was top-notch. I don't care what people say. Cyberpunk, in my opinion, was a masterpiece. If you put aside the really rubbish gameplay, from a storytelling directive perspective, it was absolutely amazing. It honestly did a brilliant story. It did a brilliant job at telling a good story. So, yeah. But that is... I don't actually think there's anything more that I actually can go through, guys. Yeah, that's about it, really. There's not much detail about the main story of the game or the main plot of the game. All we know is that it's Genshin and GTA mixed. If you guys know what Genshin is and what GTA is, you basically already know half of the actual, you basically already know most of what everyone else knows. You can walk, apparently, well, at least... Nanally seems to be able to walk upside down. And, oh, right, before I do go, guys, this game doesn't, from what I've seen, it doesn't have an element system like Wuthering Waves or Honkai Star Rail or Genshin Impact. It has something known as espers. Now, you know how in Genshin Impact, like, you know, the playable characters hold visions in order to use their powers? In Wuthering Waves, they have wave bands, and that allows them to control their powers, and they're known as resonators. In this game, they have something similar, and these people that have these powers are known as espers. Basically, espers are human beings that have supernatural powers. Yeah. Now, from what I've heard, apparently these supernatural powers come from the same entities that we have to fight in the supernatural world that, you know, that we saw at the very beginning. So, yeah, I don't know who the hell is piloting this car, I'm gonna be honest. It hurts a lot. I'm gonna be up there, but yeah. So this game is yet to go into its first closed beta from what I've heard. And also, guys, there is one more thing that you should all note. The next massive drop when it comes to this game, the next massive info dump or event that is going to be around this game is going to happen in September of this year. So effectively, the recording date of this video is like July the 26th, so less than 2 months effectively from now, which is absolutely cool, right? I didn't want to say insane in fears of sounding like one of those YouTubers that just repeat the one word over and over again. But yeah, this is one of those, you know, those supernatural scenes where you have to chase down one of those entities, guys. And honestly, it looks really damn cool. So clearly having a fast vehicle is actually very, very important. So yeah. And we can flex on the other, people that can't afford these types of rides. But yeah. So anyway, guys, some of the characters in this game do look really, really sick. If you haven't actually checked out the actual cinematic trailer for this game, then do check it out. The publishers are literally NTE, Neverness, Everness. And also, guys, before I do leave, the studio that did develop this game is Hota Studio, or Hota Studio. Now, I know you may be thrown off from the fact that it's Hota Studios, because for those of you that didn't know, Hota Studios also were known for releasing Tower of Fantasy, and I didn't play Tower of Fantasy personally. I saw the gameplay and I wasn't really interested in it that much. It just wasn't my cup of tea, so I didn't play it. But from what I've heard, Tower of Fantasy was a really, really big flop, right? Because the publishers weren't actually Hota Studios. The global version of Tower of Fantasy didn't receive the same amount of love as the Chinese version, which is why in China, Tower of Fantasy is still doing decently well, but in the global area, Tower of Fantasy is just not really doing as well as it normally would have been, right? Because the publishers were like an offshoot brand of Hota Studios, or Tencent, I should say, and they weren't really that good at taking care of customer complaints and things like that. So yeah, do ogle at some of the characters and tell me which ones excite you the most in the comment section below if half of you are watching this. But yeah, other than that, guys, Hota Studios do have some cleaning up to do, but the Chinese version of Tower of Fantasy did really, really well because Hota Studios were the ones that were directly overseeing it. They weren't directly overseeing Tower of Fantasy in the global version or the global market. So they say that they will be overlooking both the global as well as the Chinese exclusive version, which means there's a chance that this game is going to do a lot better than Tower of Fantasy did in terms of reception and customer complaints and, you know, the way the developers actually communicate with the players and stuff like that. So yeah, but that's basically been the entire video, guys. I do hope you have enjoyed it, and do stay tuned for some more Neverness to Everness videos, because that's well, I do plan on covering some more stuff about this game. Any sort of information that I manage to get off of the internet about this game, I will make a video on it, so do stay tuned. I have been Carvenus14 and still am, and I hope the lot of you enjoy the rest of your day or night, because it's an interesting time of recording of what I'm doing. So yeah, but anyway guys, I will see you all very soon. Goodbye.